Paul Jones Drug is Elk City's most experienced compounding pharmacy, meaning they can custom make your prescription medications to your doctor's specifications, safely and effectively providing you with exactly what you need. And for your convenience, Paul Jones Drug has a drive-through pickup window as well as curbside service for testing and vaccinations, and offers free local delivery. Just a couple reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
If you build it, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
And a good Paul Jones Drug Tuesday out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM. The Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. Man, it's jam-packed today, and it's going to be throughout the rest of the week for sure. We got a spring sports update and the high school ranks. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament finals last night with Uconn winning their 5th championship in the last 24 years. What's going on today in Augusta National? The Masters just a couple of days from teeing off down in Georgia. Tell you what's on tap for today down there. The Thunder tonight, a huge game against Golden State, trying to cement their place in the play-in tournament. And then right off the bat, we're going to talk a little bit of softball here on the show today. 225-9698 is the phone or the text line. It's 225-9698. Give us a call, shoot us a text. We can talk about any of those things that I have laid out or whatever else might be on your mind. Feel free to chime in at 225-9698. If you're going to be outside the listening area, excuse me, a couple of ways to stay in touch with the show. You can log on to kadsam.com, or you can download the app. The Paragon app is free, and it's got everything. It's got radio. It's got the Penny News. Brand new edition of that Penny News will hit the website tonight at midnight. It's thepennynews.com at the website there. Also, when the high school sports are rolling, Big Elk and Paragon TV, you can watch the high school sports live streamed that way. And then the Skinny on Sports podcast. If you missed the show entirely, you can go back. Check us out on kadsam.com, or you can also find that on iTunes, and then maybe even a whole bunch of other places, Jared, that we're going to write down to make sure that we can tell everybody where to find that.
I have that email if you want me to tell you.
We can talk about it later.
Okay.
That's the voice you hear, Jared Atha. Jared, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. We have a guest in the studio with us. Is a man that's trying to get senior softball league started here in Elk City. It is Mr. Joe Siegelee. How'd I do?
You did real good.
All right, Joe. Good morning. First off, thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you have been in Arizona, came to Oklahoma a year ago.
Yes.
But in 1990, you started one of these softball leagues out in Arizona. Tell us all about what's going on.
Well, we saw people coming in and just, as they're getting older, they hit the recliner. So we started just like I'm trying to do here. We started this in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's still going strong.
So, sign-ups now?
Anytime.
So, first off, how does anybody get signed up?
On the 11th, we'll be up at the softball fields, the turf fields, and we'll sign people up. It's just a drop-in, anytime, have some fun, relax. The rules are it's not a dog-eat-dog. And I understand there's a lot of 60-year-old softball players in this area.
Yeah, there's one that only has 7 fingers on both hands now that used to be able to play a whole bunch of softball in the room next to us.
That doesn't matter.
He can learn to throw left-handed, surely, can he?
Why not?
So anybody to start, 55 or up, men or women, and it's free to come out?
Yeah, that's it. That's the best thing about it. It's free. We'll attract a lot of golfers.
So
that tells you we don't run a lot.
Listen, I'm already getting more excited about getting to 55 so I can get out there if there's not going to be a bunch of running. So the goal is just to get people that are starting to get out into the retirement, out of the workforce, but to keep them active and not just kind of get in their shell and just stay inside the house?
If you stay active, you last longer.
Now, how old are you?
I'm 84. I'll be 85 in October.
85 in October. Are you you'll be playing?
I'm looking forward to playing on the 85s in Las Vegas in September.
Wow. So, what do you think? So you're here. You left. You came back. What gave you, outside of what you just told us about, having something to do for the senior community, but did you happen to go out to the softball complex and go, this looks like a place I want to play on? So did that kind of spring it there?
Yeah, I did at my age. But then I looked at the softball fields they had, and I thought, no, this isn't going to work for old people.
On the
dirt ones.
Oh, the dirt one. Yeah. But the turf ones, though, you like that?
Yes, we're going to be up there.
Yeah.
So to be at the Fiveplex on the softball side Tuesday morning, so a week from today. You said the 11th, so a week from today. What time do you want people to be out there as far as getting the sign-ups, or what time is everything going to start?
I haven't figured out the weather here yet.
But when you do, you're going to make a whole bunch of money because the guys on TV don't know either.
That's true.
Yeah. Around 9 o'clock.
Okay, so 9 o'clock Tuesday morning.
We have the fields until 12 o'clock. I told them we'd be off the fields by 12.
Okay.
Just come out and have a good time, enjoy yourself.
And if somebody misses, let's say next Tuesday, it doesn't matter. They can still come back. It'll be on Tuesdays, 9 to noon-ish to come out. And it not necessarily have to be games. If there's just enough to take batting practice or around the infield or whatever,
that's what we'll do.
So you don't – some people might be apprehensive to do it because they're thinking, well, I can't find enough people to make a team. That's not what you're doing here. Just come on out by yourself.
Looking teams. Whoever comes out, we choose sides.
Perfect.
If there's enough people. If not, just batting practice.
And don't be upset if you're last pick like I would be, right?
I'd rather be.
So what outside of just kind of way back in the 90s, what really kind of sparked your interest to this outside of just kind of getting people active? But what was there anything else that really kind of got you motivated to get this started?
I was playing with my son's team in a tournament, and that's the first part of senior softball. There was a senior softball team there, and Mike walked over and he says, "Would you like to play senior softball?" I said, "What's that?" And I've been there ever since.
That's awesome. And you told me that you'll be going with the team to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Now, when is that?
That'll be in September, the second week in September.
And you said 85s.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what that means.
It's 85 to 90-year-olds. You go every 5 years, you go up. And if there's not enough people in the older divisions, they say like if it's 85, they'll let 83-year-olds come up.
Okay.
Just enough to make a team.
Man, how many teams will be there?
Oh, probably 700.
What? Wow. That's a lot.
I'm speechless. Ask a question, Jared. I'm speechless. I did.
Well, you brought in some bling here, some rings. What's this about?
Well, I brought these for Sean because he liked the one I had on one day, and I thought I'd bring these in so he could see them.
Well, make sure you get away with them all. Make sure you get home with them all.
World championships, MVPs, all tournaments.
All from everything you've done.
The last, basically, it's in the last 10 years.
That is incredible.
20 years.
That is cool.
Man, all right. That's awesome. I would love to see this get rolling like you've done in other places.
Yeah.
With this, it's senior citizens, adult softball, 55 years or older. It can be men or women. That's
right.
It's either one. Come out 9 o'clock Tuesday mornings at the Fiveplex. Just come out and have fun. If there's games, there's games. If there's batting practice, there's batting practice. Infield, whatever. You guys will just be active and have fun. That's the whole key, right?
Definitely.
All right. So if they have questions, they can contact you.
Yes.
Your phone number 480. Now listen, I'm not messing that up. I know everybody thinks, okay, wait a minute, he meant to say 580. No. 480-302-1764.
Right.
And that is Joe Siegley.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I'm so that was making me nervous.
First names are good because you can't remember the last ones.
Well, that's actually true. Joe's an easy one to remember. My grandma's name was Joe, so that would be an easy one to remember. 55 years and up, Tuesday mornings at 9 out at the Fiveplex. 50. Just come on out and have fun. It sounds like such a blast.
I sure hope so.
All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Go show Sean those rings, but be sure and
well, thanks for having me.
oh, you bet. But be sure and put the box, the lid down. That way one of those don't escape out of there onto his finger.
Well, remember, Sean don't have all those fingers.
That's right, and his are fairly round, so none of those may fit on him anyway. Thank you so much, Joe.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, have a great day, and we'll continue to push people out there as well as we possibly can.
Thank you. You can even come out.
Listen, it's just I guess we
I'm
can.
intrigued. I wanted to just go out there and check it out, see what kind of numbers you get, and see.
Oil up the wing.
It takes time to get it started.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to realize that.
I'm sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. But once it gets rolling, it's going to be awesome.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is Joe Siegley, Elk City Senior Softball League, 55 and up. Come on out on Tuesday mornings, 9 clear to noon. They have the fields. That's awesome.
Yeah, think about it like this. When you're going out, and I'm speaking to potential players here, you're going out and you're watching your kids or grandkids playing. You think, man, I'd love to play on that field. Here's your chance.
That's a great point. That's a great point that I never thought of.
Yeah.
And or maybe like if you're watching your grandkids and you're telling everybody how good you used to be,
you
prove
go.
it.
Exactly.
Now you have a chance to prove it, right?
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a bunch of basketball, golf with the Masters, spring sports updates. Speaking of softball, Canute, huge win yesterday on the slow pitch softball side. It's a Skinny on Sports coming back right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal.
Paul Jones Drug offers a free service that makes taking your daily medications safe and easy. It's called convenience packaging, meaning they can combine all of your daily medications and put them in sealed, separate daily packages. This process replaces you from having to fill your daily medication dispenser. And as always, Paul Jones Drug prepares individual blister packaging for long-term care patients. With their drive-through window, curbside service, and free local delivery, it's just more reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
The Skinny on Sports.
Mark, yeah, Ing, yeah.
Welcome back. Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. It's a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday. Thank you to Rodney Skinner and the gang down at Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main. Paul Jones is care you can trust. They've the oldest compounding pharmacy in Elk City. It means they've got the most experience doing it. Free local delivery, drive-through pickup, curbside testing, and vaccinations, all available at Paul Jones Drug. We'll tell you all about our friends there as we move along throughout the show. Also, Jared, you know what today is?
It's April 4th, Tuesday. What is it?
It's a couple of things. April 4th happens to be my sister's birthday.
Oh, very good.
Happy birthday to Ashley.
How old?
Too shy of a major accomplishment. I'll just say that.
I think I know.
You can figure that out from there.
Yeah.
Almost 30.
Sure.
Today is when you go vote.
Yes, please.
Today is voting day. Go vote on the sales tax extension. It's not a new tax. It's not anything that you haven't been doing since 2015, and it is part of CAPS 2, Protect and Serve. The idea here is to continue the half-cent sales tax that started back in 2015 that built a beautiful elementary school. Now it can go to refurbishing the police department, refurbishing the fire department, and some add-ons for the fire department. Just it's something that is desperately needed to happen here, and that's all that they're asking you to do is just extend the half-cent sales tax that has been in effect since 2015. So get out there, get out and vote, and show the law enforcement, the fire department that you appreciate what they're doing by helping them have some new digs because they need them. The PD is 40 years old and the fire department is 70.
70, which is incredible to me. The building. You didn't think. I didn't think it was there that long.
You wouldn't think it's 70 years. Here's something that ought to make you proud. They've kept up. They've really done a good job keeping up with keeping it up as much as they can. But it's time. There's a lot of things that they can add that would help everybody from a safety standpoint. So get out there and vote and extend that half-cent sales
And
tax.
there are other elections happening too. And that's all I'll say. But please go vote. That's all I can say. Just go vote.
Well, can I say anything?
No, because then we would have – no. Just
Do we have to get other people on the horn?
We would have to do that legally. So I'm just saying, wherever you live, if you see there, I mean, I'm not. There's Eric and Sarah, I believe. There's some races happening. Hammond, Canute, Weatherford, Cordell. It's all over. It's not just Elk City, but Elk City is the big one. If you're an Elk Cityan living in Elk City, go vote on this and vote yes.
Yeah, you need to vote yes.
You vote yes. I think we've made that clear. We endorse this.
You might
yes.
get to vote for Arid J. Faye.
We got to move on. I don't want to get in too much of a pickle here.
Oh, you're not.
I've done my part. Okay, move on.
What would you like to talk about next? Elections?
No, we've done that.
Oh, we're past that. Okay, this is kind of like going to the store. If it's not on my list, it sidetracks me a whole bunch when we get talking about something else. All right, so Thunder tonight in Golden State. 3 games left in the regular season. Oklahoma City is still ahead of the Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz in the standings and in the running for the 10th and final play-in spot. Basically, magic number of 2, meaning any Thunder win coupled with Jazz and Dallas losses, if that number equals 2, they're in.
Okay.
Actually, Utah's not quite that way because they've got an extra game in the back. But anyhow, because Oklahoma City owns the tiebreak over the Mavs, ESPN's BPI gives the Thunder a 61.6% chance of making the play-in tournament with what they've got ahead of them, what Dallas has ahead of them. And then, Jared, yesterday, midday, it comes out that there's a possibility of the Mavs shutting down Kyrie and Luka.
Heard this.
For the last 3 games.
Heard this.
Here is the theory. If the season ended right now, Dallas would be in the 10th slot in the draft. Why is that important? Because in the Kristaps Porzingis trade that Dallas made with the Knicks a couple years ago, their 2023 first-round pick went to the Knicks in that trade. But it was top 10 protected. Meaning if Dallas's slot falls anywhere in the top 10, then they get to keep that pick. So why would that be important this year? Well, when they make the Kyrie Irving trade, they trade away Dinwiddie, they trade away Dorian Finney-Smith. And now it looks like with reports yesterday that Kyrie Irving is going to test the free agent market.
They're going to need some help.
They're going to need some help for Luka. And a top 10 pick that could possibly be Victor Wembanyama if you get really lucky in the lottery would be a good place to start. And so I can see why Shams Charania, what's Shams' last name? You know, Shams.
I don't know.
You don't know Shams?
That's why I just call him Shams.
Okay.
I don't know how to say.
Charania. Anyway, he's the one that came out with this, that this discussion is being held inside the Mavericks building as we speak to decide what's the best course of action. It seems to me to make a bunch of sense for Dallas. If they know Kyrie is gone, then that would be a fantastic way to be able to replace him, either through the draft or as an enticer in a trade to get somebody else to try to pair with Luka Doncic. He's made a bounce back here in the end of the season, but there's been speculation that you know who a lot of people think could be that guy? Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has played fantastic down the stretch here for the Lakers, and now all of a sudden people are thinking the Lakers might win the whole thing. Anyhow, but keeping,
funny how that works.
Yeah, isn't it? Keeping that pick though is a huge thing for Dallas, I think, right now, as insurance for Kyrie, as a way to bolster. Even if Kyrie stays, that's still a way to either make a trade to get somebody or make a pick in that top 10 once you see, and especially once you see the lottery happen. What if you get lucky? Maybe not cleared in the top to the top of the top, But if you get a little luck and all of a sudden you're in the top 3 or 4, that's way more enticing for a team to maybe make a trade with you to bolster that roster around what would be Kyrie and Luka. So really interesting for the Mavericks, and not just because it would help the Thunder, but I think long term, if I'm a Mavericks fan, because this team doesn't seem like one that's going to do anything. Even if they make the play-in, what are they going to do? Just lose? So why not hold on to that pick and see what that could become?
Yeah, and they play
Sacramento tomorrow.
So I guess I will get our answer then.
Yeah, I would.
Unless they make some kind of announcement like this. Okay, we're done, shutting it down. Which I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen a formal announcement. You just like, oh, DNP did not play.
Yeah, sometimes they do.
Coach's decision, or and then they're asked after the fact. Oh well, yeah, we're shutting it down. We're gonna go ahead and let those guys rest and look forward to the draft.
Another thing that happened yesterday, a positive for the Thunder with the Jazz. Walker Kessler is out for the rest of the season. He is in concussion protocol.
Oh, dear.
So he's not going to play in any of the last 4 games for the Jazz, which the Jazz hosts the Lakers tonight. And all of a sudden the Lakers, if they win out, they will be in the playoffs. It's like the 5th seed. How cool would that be? See KD and LeBron. I mean, that never even crossed my mind as a possibility, yeah. But now all of a sudden it looks like maybe Lakers Suns could be a first-round series out west. So Thunder at Golden State tonight at 9 o'clock. Oh, it would be a huge win if you can get it. I'm not sure with Golden State's lot in life. They need to win too. So it's going to be a tough game for the Thunder to go out at Golden State and win this one. But then you've got at the Jazz, home against Memphis. Winning 2 out of 3 puts you in this thing from here. So that's something to look forward to on the Thunder side. Last night, Uconn is your men's national champion. 76-59, a 17-point win over San Diego State. Connecticut dominated this tournament from start to finish. They had the 4th best points per game differential since the field expanded to 64 back in 1985. They won their 6th game by an average of 20, which was the 4th best showing. Here's something that I didn't realize until I kind of started doing some research. I forgot that this game even happened. Connecticut was 17-0 in their non-conference schedule this season, okay, including the tournament. They won every one of those by double digits. And you know who one of their victims was way back at the first of the season?
Was it San Diego State?
It was Alabama.
Oh, it was Alabama. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in the Phil Knight Classic thing, they beat Alabama. They pummeled Alabama, and then they end up beating Iowa State when Iowa State upset what was then number 1 North Carolina. Unless you look back, kind of hard to remember that from the first season. But 17-0 against their non-conference. Listen to this one. I'm just going to let you have a guess at this. They played in 6 games, obviously 240 minutes because each game is 40 minutes long. So out of 120 second half minutes, okay? You're with me here? Because they played 6 second halves. Of that 120 minutes, how long do you think they trailed in the second half in the tournament?
I know the answer can't be 0. Is it 5
minutes?
Yeah. What is it?
55 seconds.
55 seconds.
And it was in the first round against Iona.
Insane.
They trailed at halftime to Iona, and then they came out. And scored like 8 straight. Bam, 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 bam to take the lead. That was the only 55 seconds they trailed in the second half of any of these tournament games. That's just incredible.
That is incredible.
They become the second school to win a national title in 4 straight decades. So they won one in they've won it 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now 2020s. Who do you think's the other?
The second school to win.
The other one had already done it.
And
in 4 straight decades.
4 straight decades. I'll say Kansas.
No.
Kentucky.
No.
UCLA. No, they haven't won since 2000. or since 95. I don't know. Who is it?
I think if you guessed 2 more times, you'd get it.
Duke or North Carolina?
North Carolina. There you go. North Carolina in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. So they would have a chance to go 5 straight if they can win one this decade. But it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. Connecticut now their 5th title in the last 24 years. I thought the game last night, for me, I watched more of it than I probably thought I would, honestly. It never really felt like Connecticut wasn't in control. Like, even at halftime down 12, and Danny Hurley said just as much, it's going into the halftime locker room looking up, like, God, we ought to be up 20. Just a couple of missed layups there toward the end of the first half. San Diego State fought hard. They would make a couple of runs, but it never really felt like to me that Connecticut was in serious danger of losing that game.
No, never did. Even in that second half where they got it within single digits at what was the score?
They were down. I can tell you the biggest play of the game to me was right at 5 minutes left in the game. San Diego State to cut it to 5. It was 60-55, and Jordan Hawkins drained a 3, and from there, Connecticut outscored them 16-4 the rest of the way to pull away and win. But yeah, even then, like, maybe if Hawkins doesn't make that 3, and San Diego State can actually cut it to a 1-possession game, you start to feel. But it just seemed like any time Connecticut really needed a bucket, they would run an awesome set, and they'd either get Hawkins open for a 3, or they'd slip Sonogo down the middle of the lane and have him posted up, and they had no answer for that dude. I was kind of caught myself thinking, okay, what does he look like in the pros? Because he's big and physical and strong, but he doesn't seem, like chest wide. You know what I'm saying, like wide and strong. But he doesn't seem that tall. I don't know if he's overly athletic. He was really good from the free throw line, I think like 6 of 8. So he's got a decent touch there. But you just didn't get to see a lot of the things that he'll probably have to do in the NBA in order to be a really good pro.
Right. It's funny. I'm going back and looking because I keep thinking of the improbable, like most improbable champion. And it usually starts with me with a team with their final loss record. Connecticut finished with 8 losses this year in the crown of the champion. The last team to have 8 or more losses and be the champion?
I'm going to say probably Connecticut in 2014.
That's right. Before that,
probably Connecticut in 2011.
Exactly. Here's the thing, and the thing was, in 14 they were 32-8, and 11 they were 32-9. So if Connecticut's losing 8 games a year, you might as well just pencil them in as being the champion.
Was the Big East really the best conference? We talked Big 12 all year long. Was the Big East, or can we say? How about we say this?
It's so unfair to me to go. Okay, we have this. Who's the best conference conversation after the tournament, and it's like we forget what happened during the regular season. Does that make sense?
100%.
100%. And people are immediately going to go to that and go, well, clearly the Big East was the best conference because of Uconn. Is Marquette in the Big East?
Yes, and also Creighton. So they had 3 in the Elite 8.
Right. But you go the
Big
whole
12
season as a whole, the Big 12 looked so daunting top to bottom.
That's what I think you can have both. I think you can say that maybe the Big East was better at the very top, and the Big 12 was better as a whole.
Right.
Because when you look down here, Butler wasn't very good. DePaul wasn't very good. Georgetown was so bad they fired Patrick Ewing. You know how bad you got to be to fire that guy at that job? That's how bad they were. So I think if you wanted to, if you said, all right, you had to go through either one of these conferences for a full season schedule, I think you would choose the Big East instead of the Big 12 because the Big 12 top to bottom was better. But, and we mentioned this throughout the year, was there that elite level team in the Big 12? There was 2 Elite 8 teams, but I think people suspected Texas, maybe not Kansas State. But then when your bell cow isn't as good, I think it kind of knocks you down a peg in a lot of people's mind, and that's Kansas. Kansas was, even though they got upset in the second round, but they still weren't, coming off the title last year, they just weren't that good. That good. I'm not saying, they weren't very good. They just weren't national title good.
No, and I think
this year,
when Because you can see a Kansas team and they just go right through the conference like a hot knife through butter, right? And with little resistance. And the conference can still be the best in the country, but then there's Kansas still doing what Kansas does. That wasn't the case this year.
Right.
They lost didn't they lose to Texas twice in the regular season by like double digits?
The last two.
The last two times in the conference tournament.
Conference tournament and their last game against them. Yes.
Right. And not a lot of people are doing that against Kansas.
And who blew them out? Was it TCU that absolutely destroyed them inside Fog Allen early on in the conference? Let me look back. I think
like
it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
It takes some doing to find it, but
yeah, TCU beat them 83-60 on their home floor.
Wow.
That doesn't happen.
TCU should hang a banner just for doing that because that doesn't happen in Fog Allen.
No.
Does not happen. Even against subpar Kansas teams, and I guess this Kansas team might, to their standards, they'll probably say, yeah, that was a year we just weren't really that good.
Yeah, so Texas beat them 75-59 toward the end of the Big 12 regular season down in Austin, then they beat them 76-56 in the conference title game. Yeah, they just, listen, there's sometimes where Kansas is so good, and if they were to lose in the second round or the Sweet 16 as a 1 seed, you go, oh my gosh, what just happened? No one had that feeling. You picked them to lose at Arkansas.
I picked Arkansas
and that was not like one of those, what are you doing, Jared? Come on, you're trying to make something up. It wasn't that kind of pick. It was well, of course Arkansas can beat Kansas because Kansas isn't at the level that we're normally used to seeing them. Couple that with Bill Self not being there for the tournament. And it just wasn't.
I didn't factor.
Well, you
that
couldn't
in.
yet.
It didn't
really
happen. No, but based on how Kansas was playing at the end of that regular season and going into the conference tournament, they just didn't strike me as a team that was going to be ready for what Arkansas and what.
Well, they'd have played Connecticut. Think about that.
As an OU fan, we've seen them the last 2 years, and getting kind of familiar with them. Going to get real familiar with them when OU gets to the SEC. I just liked what is it Musselman? Is his name? I like what he's doing over there for Arkansas. I know they got blown out
by Connecticut,
which is, I guess, a good team you want to get blown out in hindsight. But I liked what Arkansas. That's why I picked them. I thought the matchup here and the trends were trending better for Arkansas. But yeah, Kansas though, I think it's an anomaly. They'll be back. I mean, as long as Bill Self is there and.
They were just a little
with
down.
His health issues now that the season's over and the dust is, still trying to settle. With Bill Self's health issues, could we be seeing the end of the Bill Self era?
I don't think so.
Or is it just a little health thing and I'm good?
That's what right now I would say that.
We've seen good coaches at all levels, at all sports say, I'm done. Doc said if I keep doing this, I might die.
I think it depends on what that was. What really happened.
Sure, I don't think it was just as simple as, he had a heart attack.
They said it wasn't that.
Was not a heart attack, but they never really.
But they never really said what it was. So, yeah, I don't. It was kind of a weird, a little bit of a weird deal for sure. But you look at the way too early preseason rankings. They've got them number 7 in the country going into next year. Grady Dick gone. Jalen Wilson will be gone, but they always find guys.
Yeah, they recruit well. Bill's obviously a great coach.
They always seem to find guys. Where is Uconn? Where is Uconn in the pecking order of college basketball? Do these 5 titles trump all the history? Where do you put them right now?
And that was a great question someone asked yesterday. Why aren't they considered a blue blood? When on the list of national titles, were they tied with third most, fourth most?
They have 5 now.
Fourth. They're tied with Duke and Indiana. Think about that. They're tied with Duke and Indiana in national titles.
So that means what? North Carolina, Kentucky, and UCLA?
There you go.
Is all that's ahead of them? So they're ahead of Kansas?
By 11, has 11, Kentucky 8, UNC 6. And I'm a big believer of this, that if you can do it with multiple coaches, which they've done, they've won their last 3 with 3 different coaches. It tells me the program's bigger than, it's kind of like what Bob Stoops said when Riley left. The program is bigger than a person. And UConn, I think, is starting to prove, or they have proven that. They're not starting to prove anything. They've proved it to me.
I mentioned that yesterday. Last night, they became the third team in NCAA basketball history to win a national title with 3 different coaches, joining Kansas and Kentucky. That's heady company.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in 2011, a little bit of a surprise title, knowing that it's near the end of the Jim Calhoun era, kind of that one last walk-off shot for him. I think there were a lot of people skeptical about Connecticut hoops. Was it Jim Calhoun? At least in short bursts, they've proven that it's not. With Kevin Ollie in 2014, obviously Hurley last night. And they've got, listen, they're going to be preseason number 1. They could lose some guys, but they've also got guys that are waiting in the wings. You know, Klingon didn't play a ton because Sonogo was so good. Well, guess what? If he stays around as be a sophomore next year, that dude looks like he can dominate down low. You know, it's a question of who stays. Looks like Hawkins and maybe Sonogo will be gone. I love Hawkins, man. He just looks that release is so quick, so athletic. I mean, maybe the most impressive play of the night was the first one of the second half when he bricked the dunk that flew all the way about 3/4 of the court backwards into the backcourt that had to be tracked down. But I really like him. He is Jay-Z's doppelganger. There is no doubt about it. You know what I mean? I kept on thinking, what's Jay-Z doing out there? Oh, wait, it's Hawkins. He looks like a pro to me. But Hurley at least looks poised for next year at the minimum to really have that thing going. And with the Big East, kind of it's wild. It's a resurgent a little bit of that conference with a bunch of names you don't recognize. You know, it's one thing for it to be Syracuse and Georgetown and St. John's and Providence. You know, some of those are still there, but it's not those teams that are buoying that conference to the top with Connecticut now, which they were kind of a staple toward the end of the old Big East with Calhoun and Boeheim going at it a bunch of times. But you throw in Creighton, and you throw in Marquette that's in that league now. It's a really, really good basketball league. And I wonder how much with the craziness in college basketball, how much being a basketball league helps. Being able to get guys either from the portal or recruiting them to know, hey, I'm going to a basketball school. And football, heck, Connecticut is clearly in the backseat. Is there anybody in the Big East where you think, okay, I don't think so. It's a pure basketball league, right? There's nobody that you go, football might take away from us.
No.
And
no.
I think that could be a huge thing moving forward.
I'm trying to think of all the Big East teams. There's so much conference realignment that's happened over the past 5+ years that I cannot remember who is all in the Big East. I just keep my finger on the pulse of
I'll tell
SEC,
you,
Big
Marquette.
Ten.
Okay, Marquette, Xavier, Creighton, Uconn, Providence, Villanova, Seton Hall, St. John's, Butler, DePaul, Georgetown. Nobody's football program's taken away from that.
No, and are they even D1 in football? Most of those are
Connecticut is.
Well, I know that, but the rest of them you just mentioned, where does Connecticut play football? What conference are they playing?
Gosh, where are they now? It's a great question. All effort. Did you like this?
Crazy to think that they actually went to a Fiesta Bowl.
I know. Did you enjoy this tournament?
Yeah, I did. For the fact that I'll go back for multiple reasons. My first reason was I had no dog in the fight.
They're independent.
They're independent, yeah. Uconn football,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's what I thought.
You wonder if that might be.
They are clinging on. I mean, I'm
that
surprised
might be
they
a precursor to them getting down into like 1AA or whatever you call it.
Or even having a football program.
Yeah. 6 and 7 a year ago.
Who'd they play?
Dang it! Yeah, I was trying to.
I'm curious who were the 6 wins? Who was losing to UConn?
They were
football?
5-1 at home. UConn football. They lost to Utah State. They beat Central Connecticut. They lost to Syracuse. They lost to Michigan. They lost to NC State. They beat Fresno State. They beat Florida International. They lost to Ball State. They beat BC. They beat UMass. They beat Liberty. They lost to Army, and they lost to Marshall in the bowl game, the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Not exactly Notre Dame's independent schedule.
Not really. I don't think they're going to be getting any invites to join the Big 12 anytime soon. Now back to your question, did I enjoy the tournament? Yes, because I didn't have a team in the OU OSU wasn't there, which is a shame for our local rooting interest. But I try to look at the bright side of it, like, oh well, I can watch a game and not care who wins. Well, I say that, then if it coincides with my picks on the bracket challenge, which always makes it fun. But then just the uncertainty, the wildness of the first 2 days in the first round or 2 rounds were just like, what is going on here? And then the Final Four we got, it was just the most unlikely Final Four that I can remember.
Yeah, you wonder if, Connecticut, when you think back to you mentioned those years with them having a bunch of losses, these last 3 titles, it also coincides a little bit with some weird Final Fours. And do they get enough credit for actually winning those Final Fours? That they got to play Butler when Butler played VCU in the first round of the Final Four in 2011. Mm-hmm. 2014, they get that Kentucky team that kind of came out of nowhere as an 8 seed, I think, knocked off Wichita State, ends up in the finals, and they beat them. And then this year, went in the tournament that had no 1 seeds in the Elite Eight for the first time ever. So these last 3, the first 2, there's absolutely no, you can't say anything about that. El Amin and those guys beat what was the most dominant team since the tournament became 65 in that Duke team in 99. Then we mentioned Okafor Gordon won the Final Four in 2004, in which OSU was down there with those guys, with Eddie and IMAC and all those guys, got beat at the buzzer by Georgia Tech. And they win that one. But then these last 3, UConn's not going to apologize for it, but maybe the outside world doesn't realize how good they've been because it's hard to remember those, right? Like those Final Fours are so forgettable. The year before, Butler's playing in the finals against Duke, and Hayward almost knocks it in from half court to win it. You remember that Butler trip to the finals?
Yeah.
Do you remember the next year when they got beaten a horrible game? Did you see that last night? It was the worst first half. It was the second lowest scoring first half of all time. Only UConn Butler was worse at 22-19 back then. There's such forgettable championships in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But they still go on the board. And in Connecticut is now they've put themselves in that upper echelon, whatever you want to call it. If you don't want to call it blue blood, that's fine because they haven't been there long enough to get blue blood status.
Well, that's where I was going to go. Was their knock for not being blue blood status is their first title came in '99 when the other blue bloods are winning them back in the '60s and '50s and '40s and still doing it. That a lot of people look at that.
UCLA,
right?
They still doing it?
That's a good point.
They haven't won since '95, right?
That's a good point. That's right. They do have the most. But
Indiana's
Indiana
won 87 with Keith Smart.
87. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather be UConn. I'd rather be UConn than Indiana right now.
For people like us,
right?
Born in the '80s, and UConn wasn't wasn't winning a title. First one was my freshman year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that seems like not so long ago, but it is.
when you put it in that perspective, it is.
But think about it like this: Florida, if they won 3 more titles between now and their last one in '07, are they in this echelon of what we're talking about? It would almost their first one in '06.
Yeah, I guess if we're in 2041 or 2031, and they've won 3 more between now and then. They're right there. They're exactly the same spot.
The real question is define blue blood. That's the real question.
I think there's
and that's so lucrative. It's so everyone has a definition for it.
Because when you think of blue blood, you think of old. To me, like long ranging, a time span, and that's why I compared UConn to Miami football.
Mm-hmm.
When they were at the top, they were at the top, but there was peaks and valleys. But the one thing you got to give Connecticut credit for, and especially these last 3 times, when they've gotten there, they've gotten the job done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They have absolutely gotten the job done when they have gotten and had the team. When they've had the team to win it, they've done it. 5-0 now in title games?
Yeah.
That's getting it done when you have the chance. And there's a whole bunch of those blue bloods that have spit the bit.
Yeah.
At different times and not being able to get it
My
done.
final thought to college basketball before we shift gears here, I was thinking, and this goes back to my whole theory, if Miami had won this whole thing, they're about to win a lot more because the whole NIL, and they're located in Miami. They would have been the coolest school in the country to go to.
I got a crazy stat for you when we come back.
Okay.
Paul Jones Drug is Elk City's most experienced compounding pharmacy, meaning they can custom make your prescription medications to your doctor's specifications, safely and effectively providing you with exactly what you need. And for your convenience, Paul Jones Drug has a drive-through pickup window as well as curbside service for testing and vaccinations, and offers free local delivery. Just a couple reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
The Skinny on Sports.
Now we're back!
Welcome back. Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the sports animal. We're going to wrap up a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday here in this segment. Rodney and the gang at Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main in Elk City. Paul Jones Drug is care you can trust. They've got it all. Long-term care, unit packaging, they call them blister packs. Something that we mention each and every time we talk about Paul Jones Drug is convenience packaging. You do not have to load your pill caddy anymore. You don't have to make sure you have the right dosage on the right day. No. They do that for you. All you got to do is open up your meds, take them daily. They do it for you and make it so much easier. That's why, Jared, it's called convenience packaging.
Yep.
You've got the durable medical equipment, which is your walkers, your cranes, your crutches. Most insurances are accepted. And, oh, by the way, great gifts and greeting cards as well. It's Easter coming up this weekend. Give somebody an Easter card, feel free. Get it down there at Paul Jones Drug. I found a bunch of cool little gifts around Christmas time. Graduation's coming.
Yeah.
Some different things down there. So go visit our friends at Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main. Rodney and the gang at Paul Jones Drug is care you can trust right here in the Elk City area. All right, enough basketball, Jared. The most important thing going on this week is something called the Masters. Or at least for me.
A lot of people.
I would think most people have turned their attention away. I think about it at the halftime of that game last night when it was clear who was going to win. I think even Jim Nance started turning his thoughts to Augusta National and the Masters, which, by the way, last night was his final.
Yes.
Last Final Four. Ian Eagle is going to take over. I'm a little disappointed by that. A little disappointed. I thought they were clearing the way for our man Kevin Harlan.
Me too.
But instead it's going to be Ian Eagle. So today at the Masters, you've got a couple of things going on. One, it's the big day for pre-tournament press conferences. There's a big, long list that I'll go through here in just a second. Also, pairings will be announced later on today, so we'll know who's going to play with each other the first 2 days. And tonight, the Champions Dinner, which we went through that awesome
I had my
menu.
Champions Dinner last night, actually.
Oh, man. Awesome menu that Scotty
Yes.
Scheffler has put together with the cheeseburger sliders, the ribeyes, the
I've seen
redfish.
some pictures that they're. Did you see? They're kind of teasing it. They showed some pictures. Those sliders look cool.
Yes, a Scotty style.
Scotty style.
I don't know what Scotty style means, but they're going to find out. So that's what's going on down at Augusta National today. Of note is the interviews. So I'm going to read this list of who's coming in and what time, and I want you to tell me what is not like the other. Okay?
Okay, you're gonna go in order of.
Going to go in order.
Talking.
So at
Gotcha.
9:30, like right now, well, actually at 8:30 their time, but I'm going to just use Eastern time. Just it doesn't matter. So at 9:30 it was Rory. 10 o'clock John Rahm. 10:30 Tom Kim. 11 o'clock Tiger. 1:30 Justin Thomas. 2 o'clock Matthew Fitzpatrick. 2:30 Max Homa. 3 o'clock Scotty Scheffler. And 3:30 Patrick Cantlay. Can you tell me what was not like the other?
This is a PGA versus LIV thing, right?
Nope. So everybody got 30 minutes.
Okay. Oh, I didn't pay attention to that. I should have. You cued me in. I didn't even pay attention to that part.
Yeah, 30-minute intervals until after Tiger. And it's 2.5 hours. Now, part of that is lunch, obviously. But the other part of it is everyone knows that the people that in that room want to get those stories out immediately after he's done.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's still moving the needle, unlike anybody else. But so that'll happen. Pairings will happen. later on today as well.
Par 3 tomorrow?
Par 3's tomorrow.
What time's that one?
Kind of just the coverage, I think, on ESPN Plus starts at like 11 in the morning.
Help me remember. When's the last time the Masters was during Easter weekend?
Ooh. It's been a little bit. Seems like it's once every 4 or 5 years.
I'm sure a lot of people like that
something
because most of America is off work on Friday for Good Friday, right? And they can watch a lot of the Masters.
It's very true.
And then have a really good Easter meal on Sunday.
It is.
Then watch the Masters. Yeah.
We'll make our picks tomorrow.
Great. Yeah, I was gonna need to do that still.
Let's hit the high school stuff from yesterday. So J-Mac was in here last Thursday talking about the Elk City baseball team. They've been fantastic so far this year. The last 3 weeks here of the district schedule will ramp up with Elk City, Weatherford, Clinton, and Kingfisher all kind of round robin around playing each other the last 3 weeks. Going into yesterday, those 4 teams were undefeated. The rest of the district was defeated. Nobody had won a game on the bottom side. Nobody had lost a game on the top side. The Elks went to Kingfisher. Cash was clearly awesome. Mayfield. The Elks win 10-0 over the Yellow Jackets. So Elk City and now Weatherford also are tied at 7-0 as Weatherford handed Clinton a 25-11 loss yesterday at Weatherford. So Elk City and Weatherford atop the standings. Kingfisher and Clinton now with a lone loss. Those teams will meet at the opposite place today. So that means 5 o'clock, Ackley Park. You can see the Big Elks and the Kingfisher Yellow Jackets. Then I think the Clinton game. I think Clinton Weatherford is in Clinton today, as they were in Weatherford yesterday. It's going to be a totally different. Conditions are going to be wild with the wind that's expected. I mean, pop-ups may go out of the park at Ackley with that wind howling out of the south, and that just gives to me the Elks that much more of an advantage with the pitching staff that they can throw out there. I'm sure Cooper Church will be on the mound today for the Elks. That 1-2 punch has been fantastic all year long for Elk City with Mayfield and Church back-to-back. So the 4A4, that muddy picture will start to clear here over the next couple of weeks. In the small school ranks, Canute's still up at the top of the rankings in Class A. They will start district tournaments not this weekend. Let's see, it's the weekend of the 20th or 21st, so a couple of weeks away from district tournaments in Class A, Class B, and Class 2A. With those rankings. As I mentioned, Canute on top of the Class A rankings at number 1. You've also got Hollis, the Tigers, at 20-2, are number 7. They did suffer a loss, though, last weekend to Arapahoe Butler in the finals of the Shattuck tournament. Arapahoe Butler's number 17, Hydro Weekly number 14, Shattuck number 11. So a bunch of good baseball in Class A around here. Class B-wise, Fort Cobb's number 1, Calumet's number 4, Granite's 7, Vicine 9, Leedy 10, and Sentinel down there at number 20. So
we had a good baseball game last night. Number 1 Canute, number 1 Fort Cobb played. Fort Cobb got the better of them 5-3.
That's right.
Looked like a really good one.
Yeah, very good game. And Canute suffered a couple of losses here in the AMPO tournament. Also to Weatherford, they stepped up in the class and got beat there. And then Granite outslugged them on a windy one of those windy days.
The bottom of the 7th win for Granite.
Was it?
Yeah.
So
now
15,
they turn
14.
around and go to the Granite tournament this weekend. Is that right? Yeah. I'm sure Canute's hoping they can match up with Granite again to get that one back. But
absolutely.
Stepping up playing teams like Weatherford only makes you better. They got out to like a 3-0 lead, and then Weatherford came out and had a 7-run inning, I believe. I'm going off of my game changer memory. I wasn't there, obviously, but playing tough teams. But still, it looks like a log jam up top in Class A with the way the votes are spread out.
Yeah, Ratan's got the most first place votes, and I think a bunch of that probably comes off of their performance down in Gulf Shores, where they went 3-1. Were able to beat Stillwater, a 6A team, 5-0. That's. Did you see those rankings yesterday?
I'm just seeing this. It says Canute and Rattan are tied for 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, sure enough. It does have 2 1s there.
Because their points are 1264 to 1264. So, again, log jam at the very top, Class A. Those playoffs could be interesting, especially when we get to the state tournament to see who gets there. Because I think there's a lot of evenly dispersed talent at the top of Class A, probably 1 through 7, 6. I don't know what to make of Hollis, though. Kind of a
good team.
Good team, yeah. 20 wins.
What is PBR? when it comes to not professional bull riders. This rankings I sent you.
Blue ribbon? I don't know.
No, PBR Oklahoma, the Spaceball thing.
Oh yeah, you saw. Yeah, I don't know if it's a. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it makes sense. It's like a top 10 like power rankings.
It's a top 25, but I just saw the top 10 because of who was in it. So it's like an all class ranking. So for instance, mention Stillwater, they're number 3. So Rattan's win over Stillwater carries some clout, obviously.
Sure.
But you find the Elks at 10.
That win over Blanchard opened a lot of people's eyes.
I think it did too. Tuttle Prep Baseball Report. God, she's always Johnny on the spot with this stuff. So it's the Prep Baseball Report. Elks in the top 10 of the state all classes with that. Other things that happened yesterday on the golf course right out here at Elk City Golf and Country Club, the Patsy Pool Invitational.
I didn't know it had a name. That's cool.
It does. The Pools are one of the instrumental families at getting high school golf here back when Dave was in high school and right after, all through there in the late 80s, early 90s. And so the Patsy Pool Girls Invitational, the Elkettes win by 6 shots over Clinton. Weatherford was third individually. Elk City had Campbell Rainey tied for second with an 86. Brett Barnett tied for fourth with an 87. Addison Litke from Clinton was the tie for second there at 86. Somebody was 87. I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Cat. It was somebody from Weatherford. McKinley Elwick, I think, was the tie for fourth there with an 87. But
that's pretty cool. Those three teams,
right?
Clinton, Weatherford, right here.
That's right.
Good golf.
359 for Elk City, 365 for Clinton, and 381, I believe, for Weatherford were the scores there. Merritt went to Kingfisher, and they got third against a pretty good field there at Kingfisher. Notables, Bentley Whitson, freshman there at Merritt, shot 92 to lead the team. Peyton Broadbent shot 94. And so Merritt gets third behind. Heritage Hall at 1, Oklahoma Christian Academy was second. And then last night, Canute slow pitch softball, a huge win over number 1 Shattuck. It seems like the last handful of games for the Trojanettes have been right down to the wire wins over and over and over, starting with Jade Gray's walk-off against Arapahoe Butler, I believe, was the first in this, and they beat Visay close. And then last night, a one-run win over Shattuck.
A big win because that Shattuck team, before the tournament was called off over there at Weatherford, they had beaten, to bring it up, number 1 6A Mustang, like 23-14. So it was a big opportunity for them last night, and they had a lead. And Shattuck, slow pitch goes. It just ebbs and flows of runs, but. Canute got the big win last night. That's big for them. That propelled them up to number 2. They already beat Bingaroni. They've won 15 of 16. They're a hot team. I'm asking some softball dads, is this team for real? And like, oh yeah, they're swinging the bat really well. So,
yeah, you look back here, starting at the first of last week, 16-15 over Arapahoe Butler, 14-13 the next day against Visay. I assume won the Weatherford tournament with 3 wins. Well, it may not have got completed because of that windy day.
It did not. Okay. I thought they were. I didn't know if they were going to postpone it to Saturday, but it looked like they didn't. It looked like they just said, "Let's just call."
I saw a video from Friday when that hit. Leedy was out there, and it went from almost nothing to where you couldn't even see the infield, just immediately.
I was joking. I was like, "Is there going to be dirt left on the field?" Yeah. My goodness.
So, but anyway, Buffalo. You mentioned Bingaroni, 2A number 2, beat them 12-10 in that tournament. Back-to-back wins over Navajo. I guess, did they play Navajo yesterday as well?
Yeah, it was a 3-way.
Okay, so 9-8.
Shattuck and Navajo played the nightcap.
So there you go. Back-to-back one win. 9-8 in extra innings over Navajo, and then 13-12 over Shattuck was 2A number 1. Really good stuff from Coach Gillette's Trojanettes.
Success follows that guy, doesn't it?
He might be a good coach.
He might be.
I'm just going to throw that out there. There's a possibility that O.J. Dub is a pretty decent coach when it comes to the bat and the ball games.
And ball, yeah. He's pretty good.
He might be decent.
Pretty good.
All right, that's going to do it for a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday. Thank you to Rodney and the gang at Paul Jones Drug. Care you can trust right here in the Elk City area. Man, it's going to be Masters heavy tomorrow, I'm just going to tell you.
Let's go. Ready for it.
We'll have to make our picks. Get your picks in mind. A top 3 and then a dark horse. Anybody outside the top 25 of the official World Golf Rankings. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right. Way back. Goodbye.
Paul Jones Drug offers a free service that makes taking your daily medications safe and easy. It's called convenience packaging, meaning they can combine all of your daily medications and put them in sealed, separate daily packages. This process replaces you from having to fill your daily medication dispenser. And as always, Paul Jones Drug prepares individual blister packaging for long-term care patients. With their drive-through window, curbside service, and free local delivery, it's just more reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.